Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about homeschooling and some of the crises that we're facing in our school system throughout this country. The schools are being closed down. I think they're overreacting and there's a bit of hysteria going on, but they're closing down. The kids are at home, and who knows how long this will be. And the colleges have closed down. I have a grandson that can't graduate because of a suspension of his classes and the graduation ceremony. So I think it's very serious. Of course, I take the position that I don't think the coronavirus is nearly as serious as some of the complications. But with me today is Daniel McAdams, who, of course, you know because he's our co-host, but he's also somebody that's had some personal experience with homeschooling. And he's not worried about his school closing down. He has a couple kids and they're getting homeschooled. And that's what we want to talk about. Of course, I've been involved in homeschooling for a while, and we want to visit with you shortly. Daniel.
Yeah, you know what I'm seeing, Dr. Paul? People are worried. I'm seeing on Facebook and other social media, parents are feeling anxiety because their kids are home. They may have sent their kids off to school and not really thought about lesson plans and education. Now they're finding their kids are home. They're probably watching a lot of cartoons or whatever they do, video games. The parents are getting tired of it. They do understand that their kids need to start studying, but they really don't know how to go about it. And that's why we kind of had the idea that maybe there's something that we can do to help take some of the anxiety out of having your kids home.
Yeah, and the program is something I really believe in because I want to do this long term.
Yeah.
Because I've never been very happy with our government school system. But really, there's a lot of other people that aren't very happy with the government system too, because they would agree with us in many ways that this might be overkill as far as closing down everything, because the argument of how serious the coronavirus is still up for discussion. But anyway, the people are frightened about what to do, and I started the program, the homeschooling program, the Ron Paul's curriculum, shortly after I left Congress. And Tom Woods and Gary North were very instrumental in this, and they have a good program. So I'm very pleased with that, and we have a significant number of people. But I got to thinking, under these circumstances, there might be some other people that think, well, homeschooling is the way to at least consider and learn about it. And that's what I wanted to visit with you on, because there's so many disadvantages of what we're going through now. Of course, the disadvantage is you had your kids being homeschooled a long time before you had to have the coronavirus involved, and you were, I think, interested more academically of what was happening and getting a good education for your kids. So this is something that's not going to get better fast. I thought it should have never occurred to this extent, because the coronavirus has not proven to be anything compared to influenza, as far as the danger goes. But this program is unique. It's a little bit different. There's a lot of videos to watch. It's something that students can operate on their own. They don't need a whole lot of supervision from the parents, and it's been very popular, for the people that have used it.
Yeah, and that's one of the good things to offer folks when they have their kids home. They don't know what to do. Ron Paul curriculum. The thing that we have used it, and we do use it. One of the things that's two of the great things about it. The first of all, it's scalable. It's not all in or all out. For our son, for example, we use it as a supplement to his other education. He took some courses at the college. He did some courses with his mother, and he did some Ron Paul curriculum courses. So it's very scalable. Is one very good thing about it. And the second thing is, especially when the kids get a little older, not even that much older, it's 98% self-taught. So the parents, my wife was busy teaching our younger two. She didn't have to worry about lesson plans and all of this with our son, because it's self-taught. And kids are so used to YouTubes and videos these days that it's very easy for them to get into. And I tell you what, my son was very reluctant to start writing. As soon as he started studying with Gary North and Tom Woods, two great masters, really, great educators, he was writing, he was off the rails, writing constantly. So it does help students a lot. And that's why we really wanted to visit with the audience and tell them this might be something you want to look into. And who knows, you might want to do it permanently.
That's right. A few months ago, I guess it is now, that I did a couple interviews with some of our very excellent students, and I was very pleased with them because I don't deal with the students on a day-to-day basis. And I did a couple of interviews. I want to make them available so after we finish here, if they click on, they'll be able to see these interviews. There was one young man and one young lady, and I'll tell you what, they were really good. One of the concerns I had, two about homeschooling before I knew about it, was one, socially they'll never adjust. And I found out as I was on the campaign trail, it was the homeschooling kids that were very well adjusted. They could stand up and ask questions like adults. And the other thing that our family was very much into sports. I think, oh, you're homeschooling, they'll never meet other kids, they won't do anything athletically. Your kids actually get out and do athletic things,
Yeah.
and it's a corporation, so it's a different image than I ever had. The first time I came across homeschooling was in the 80s when they were trying to close it down,
Yeah.
and I still fear that too.
Yeah.
And that's why the program that I wanted was one that was designed not for a religious, narrow message, but a message of liberty where everybody could have a homeschooling group if they want, so that they know and understand the freedom philosophy, the economic policy, the Federal Reserve, the foreign policy. And so it's very generalized in that sense, but not narrow. But that doesn't rule out that we don't think people should want to have a homeschooling that teaches in a much more narrow sense. That's the way schools originally started. In our early history, they had a religious connotation to it, and there were small groups and one-room schoolhouses, and it was quite a bit different. So I do hope that as we finish that people will click on and especially watch some of these interviews. And I think that the program that you mentioned, that there's quite a few lessons that you can take if you're interested more to see what the lessons are like. And there's 47 suggestion programs in there.
Yeah, you did mention one really interesting thing is that there's nothing stopping you from forming a homeschool co-op using the Ron Paul curriculum. And in fact, we know people that do that, so you can join together with other kids.
Mm-hmm.
But so we would just, encourage people, just click on ronpaulcurriculum.com, have a look at what's offered, look at how much they have on sample to try out. And as Dr. Paul mentioned, there's a very special program, rpcstudyskills.com, and we'll have links in the description to these and to the two videos Dr. Paul said. But the rpcstudyskills.com is a series of 40-some lessons to help teach your kids how to study and how to read, and it's completely free. So what do you have to lose? Give it a try, right?
Right. Well, very good. Daniel, it was nice visiting with you because you've had experience with it too. I have to tell you that there was a time when homeschooling really didn't even exist, when I was raising our kids and all, but I'm a strong believer in it, and it's something I want to promote, and it's something that is very long lasting. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in today for this special review of homeschooling and the conditions that we're facing today in our educational system. Please come back soon.